Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another cross-stitching update video. In this video, it's been like, I think a week and a half since my last normal update video. And so I will be showing you week 6 and a little bit of week 7 of Big Brother Stitchy Game, which is by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And I will also be showing my daily-ish stitching piece, which is Autumn Harmony. And then I will also be showing my Whipgo wheel spins, which I have 2 projects to show because it's been more than a week since my last video. So to get started, I will talk about my daily-ish stitching piece first, which Autumn Harmony. It's artwork by Maxine Gadd, and I really want to get her finished this year, but it might not get finished until like beginning of next year, if I'm being honest. And so I will show you where she's at. I actually moved. So I worked on one area and then I ended up moving her, so I'm gonna have to show you 2 areas. The first area I will show is her neck, which you have been seeing for the last few weeks if you watch my update videos. And I was just trying to fill in like the skin tones on her neck, and I feel like I got most of the skin done, and a lot of what's left is like the hair and like leaves and stuff like that. And then I started to get really bored of stitching in this area because I've been working on it for like a while. It was a couple weeks that I had been kind of stuck in that area. So I moved my hoop and worked over in this arm area. There's a needle, but there's a thread still on it, so I can't take it off. Okay, so I was working on this arm area, and then I also was filling in some of like the leafy bits up here and some of the reds, because the reds are just super easy stitching because a lot of it is like kind of bigger like chunks of stitching. And I think what I'm going to try and do is finish filling in this section right here so that half of her will be like finished, because the top half on this side is finished and then all that will be left is just this big side that I haven't really worked on. So I will show you what she looks like fully right now. So there is the top, and you can see this side hasn't got a lot of attention, but the one side is like almost finished, which is very fun. And so yeah, I will just be focusing, I think, on like that bottom section here and just trying to get it all filled in, and then I can pretend like, you know, like she's finished. When I look at that side, I'll be like, great, it's fabulous. So I'll keep working on her. I try and do like 300 or 400 stitches a day when I work on her, but I don't end up stitching every day, which means that, like I said, I might not get her finished this year, but I will be very close. I am currently at like 75% complete, so it's getting closer and closer. And I feel like once I get to having like 20,000 stitches left, or like 15,000, then it will be easier for me to just like solely focus on her, because I'll be like so much closer to the finish that like the end will be near and I'll want to stitch on her more. But sometimes right now it's kind of like a drag. Like you're kind of like, again, I get to work on her again, and it feels sometimes like the ending is so far away. Anyways, I will now go to my Whipgo wheel spins, and the first one I will talk about, and I think I have videos of the wheel spins. If I do not, then I apologize. But the first spin was Pokemon Switch, which is a chart by Glitch Stitch AU on Etsy. And this one was, I was pretty excited to get this one because I have not stitched on this project in a while, and so I was excited because this one's really easy to stitch on. It's a lot of blocks of color, so like I was stitching just this one green, and this one green has like 2,000 stitches, and there's only like 4,000 or 5,000 stitches left in this chart, I think. So I was just like, that's an easy color. And then I also did some of like these like orangey browny colors that are like more dirt and like the rocky bits and stuff. So that was an easy way to get some stitches in. And this is on an 18 count 2/1 full cross. And this is a piece where I am stitching multiple projects on the one piece of fabric because I don't like finishing things. So on this piece of fabric, there are like the characters from the anime Bleach. There's also going to be Sailor Venus here. And I have like a whole bunch of like anime gaming charts that I would like to put on this piece of fabric. But I need to finish some of like these ones before I start stitching anything else. So I would like to eventually get the switch done, and then I'll start working again on Sailor Venus. And then I can start adding on more of the things that I would like to put on there, because I also have like little Professor Layton characters because I love the game Professor Layton. And there is like a chocobo from Final Fantasy, and so there's a lot of things that I would like on there, but I just don't have the time with all the other things that I'm working on. And then my second wheel spin was Rose Library, which is artwork by Ivy Dolomore, charted by Unconventional X Stitch. And if you did not see my 1 week, my 1 week of Big Brother Stitching in 1 day video, then you may not know, but I stitched down to the flowers because I was really kind of tired of stitching in the corner. Like, I like starting in the corner because it's the easiest place to like measure to, but also the corner of most charts usually isn't that interesting. And so yeah, I wanted to stitch on flowers, so I'd stitch down here, and the colors are just so pretty. It's just like a bunch of pinks, and I love it. So you can't really tell what they are yet, but I feel like once I get more background and stuff put in, it'll, you know, be more clear what it is. This is on a 25 count, 2/1 half cross. And then this was a wheel spin, but I also did it for Big Brother Stitching for week 6. So it was someone who was the replacement nominee, and it was the person who was evicted, which I was happy with the person who was evicted in week 6. It was I'm not gonna say who it was in case you haven't watched it yet, but it was someone who, I don't watch the live feeds, but I have seen people talk about the live feeds, and I guess in the live feeds, this person was sus, as the kids would say. I was happy that that person is gone. And is this on week 7? This so far is not on week 7 of Big Brother Stitchy Games, so I might not be working on it this week for Big Brother Stitchy Games, which would be kind of sad, but it is what it is. And the next piece that I will show from Big Brother Stitchy Games was the one that was for the HOH. So it ended up getting 700 stitches, and that is Drinks on the Beach, which is my Hade 2025 stitch along. It's artwork by, I think, Lars Stewart. And I love this one. So when I was working on this one, I was trying to focus on, I wanted to get this umbrella filled in, and this umbrella is now filled in. And then a lot of the colors in the umbrella were also down here and then over here in this drink. So I was kind of going between all 3 of these places and just trying to fill in some of the confetti stitches. And this is 32 count, 1/1 half cross using CXC floss. So I love this one. This one is going to be done for week 7. It was one of the nominees' pieces. So this will be worked on again for week 7, so I can keep that one out. And then another one from week 6 is, I'm trying to find the week 6 ones first. There it is. Another one from week 6 is the Hade 2024 stitch along, which I would like to get finished soon. That would be very nice. And this one only got 200 stitches for a nominee, and I was just working in more of the parked threads that are all over the place because I was parking way too many threads last year, because last year when I was doing my like trying to finish the 4 pages thing that I did in December, I was just like, all these parked threads are future me's problem, and so I was just doing what was easiest at the time, which was parking them. And then when I came back to it this year, there was some of the threads that were parked and they had like 2 stitches, and I was like, I could have done those 2 stitches and ended the thread, but I don't like ending threads. So like I said, I was just like in a hurry, future me's problem, and now future me is dealing with those consequences. This is on 28 count, 2/1 half cross. I hope that it keeps coming out because I want this piece finished, because it's not that big. Like you can tell, this fabric, not that big. And so I really just want this one done so I can have less whips and also possibly get like a new start at some point, because I have to finish 2 whips to start a new one. And I have not started anything yet so far this year, which is crazy. I did start Drinks on the Beach, but that was technically the end of December because it came out early, so it wasn't this year. That was last year. And then I think my last One of my last ones for week 6 is Fables. This is charted by Gecko Rouge, and this only got a couple hundred stitches, I think, for a nominee. If I am remembering correctly, where is the thing? Yep, it was just someone who was nominated, and then it was the person who won the BB Blockbuster. So it got 300 stitches. Wow. And you can't even really tell where they are because it was a lot of light colors filling in the row that I was working on. And so yeah, there's like light stitches all over the edge here, and they're kind of hard to see when I'm stitching, and so they probably also aren't very great to see in videos. This is on, I think, a 28 count 2/1 half cross. And the last one that I have to show is Cozy Winter Book Nook. This was worked on for week 6. It was worked on for a nominee, and then also the person who won the veto competition had this chart. And then it was worked on for week 7 for the HOH and a nominee. So this one got quite a few stitches since the last time you saw it. It's artwork by Rose Kahn, charted by Pain Free Crafts. And I love it. So I worked on the flowers because I kept wanting to stitch, you know, summery flowery bits. And then I also started working on filling in the wall up here because I kind of want to see how it's all going to come together. You know, we have the clock now, we have some flowers, and I want to see like all like the background filling in everything. I also want to kind of work towards the window because once we get to winter, I would like to be able to stitch on the tree that's in the window. And I was also thinking already about like Big Brother Stitchy Game will go until October is I think when Big Brother ends. And after that, I would like to think of some other Stitchy Game, and the projects I want to use for that Stitchy Game would be winter charts and fall charts. So I have a chart Walking in the Rain, which is like my only really fall chart, and so I would put that in there. And then also I would have my like winter and Christmas charts. So I have Cozy Winter Book Nook, I have Christmas 2, which is a Haid, and then I have Santa's on His Way from Charting Creations, Heaven on Earth 2 from Charting Creations, and then I feel like there's another one that I am forgetting. But yeah, I love Christmas charts, so I would like to be able to just like throw them all into a Stitchy Game and work on them throughout the fall and winter. And the reason why I like this is because like a lot of the times it's like, okay, someone nominated 200 stitches. That is pretty easy to like squeeze into, you know, like if you have an hour, you know, you can just start doing that, because there's a lot of times where I will just be like scrolling on my phone and that's kind of wasted time, but then I'll be like, oh, I need to do Big Brother Stitchy games. And so then it makes me do better things with my time, if that makes sense. And so yeah, it's just a fun way to squeeze in extra stitches. That is all that I have for cross stitch. Going on to, I will talk a little bit about yarn, is I will show I have finished socks. I don't know if I showed these in my last video. I really don't. And so if I did, I apologize, but I finished my, what socks are these? The Rose City Rollers, and I finished these. Yay, I was very happy. I used yarn from So Livy Dyes Yarn. I was knitting them 2 at a time, and all that was left was basically, I think, like the toe portion of each. So I did my toes. I was able to try a rounded toe on this one because normally I do, I can't remember what it's called. Normally I do a square toe because that was what the vanilla socks show, is they show how to do a square toe, and then I did a rounded one for this one, which looks a little bit more round. The other socks I did were more like square at the top because of the way you do your decreases. So that was fun. Next time I would like to try and do like a different heel because all of my socks have done the same type of heel flap. That is not focusing. There we go. I've always done the same heel, and so I would like to try and experiment with something a little bit different for my neck socks, so we will see which pattern I end up doing next. I'm also not even sure like which heels. I know there's an afterthought heel. There's something about like a fish, I think. And so I know there's different heels, but I don't know exactly what they are and what people think are like fun ones to do, and also like relatively easy, because socks are usually like a travel project and I want them to be not difficult. So But yeah, I'll probably be starting socks soon because I do have more sock yarn coming. I placed an order with Holst Garn before all of like the stuff happens at the end of August. I'm in the US and there's a lot of companies who are like not going to be shipping until they figure out all of the rules that are going to be happening going forward with shipping. So I placed my order, like Holst Garn put on their Instagram like we are going to be stopping shipping on this day, and like I stayed up super late like picking out yarns because I saw it at night because there's like, you know, time difference between when they post and me. It was at night when I saw it and I was just like, I need to place this order because I had been looking at Holst Garn anyways. And so I wanted to get a cone of the super soft in like a black or dark gray. And so I got the color graphite. I also got, they have a Highland sock yarn that I've never tried from them before. And so I got that in black, which I would like to make, you know, some black socks. And then I also got a couple different colors of Coast and Tides, which I've never tried those ones. And I know that one of those is a cotton blend and then the other one is a silk blend. So I am excited to try those yarns when they get here, which they're in the US now, yay, just in time. And so yeah, I'm excited for those. But then the big thing I'm excited about is Michael's. I had talked before about Michael's, the Karen anniversary cakes, and the big cakes aren't in stores yet, but they had this. These are the slice of anniversary cakes, so they are smaller than an anniversary cake, but they have last year's colors because the colors they use on the anniversary cakes are normally like limited edition, exclusive, and the last year they had a color, Book Club. There you go. Book Club, and I wanted that color so bad, but they sold out so fast. And so I went to my Michael's store and they had Book Club in person, and so I got 4 of these so far. I might need more because I would like to make a blanket, and this is a chunky yarn, and so I think I'll probably need more than the 4 that I got. And I'm just waiting though because online these are still saying coming soon, and so I would really like them to be available online because Michael's coupons right now are only like online only purchases, which is kind of annoying. And so like online, they'll have it where you can get like 30% off your purchase. I looked today and it's I think like 40% off because Labor Day is coming up. And I would like to get 40% off of my purchase. And usually it will also work for in-store pickup. But right now, because these aren't, they say coming soon, you cannot do in-store pickup even though my store has them because it's still not available online. So I am waiting patiently, impatiently, so I can get more of this yarn for making a blanket. I really want to make, I think, the 6-day star blanket from, I can't remember their name, Betty make something. I don't know, I'll put it up. I've seen that one all over YouTube though because people were making videos like, can I make this blanket in 6 days and stuff. So there was a lot of videos that I have seen like last year. It was really popular. Anyways, books. I will move on to books. And I was looking at my summer reading book list, and 2 of the books that I still wanted to read from my physical shelf was House of Leaves and this one, Servant of Earth. So I started reading these. And my plan was that House of Leaves, I was like, this one is kind of like complicated. It's got a lot going on. And so I was like, I'll read this sometimes, like read like a chapter at a time, and then I'll read this at the same time, you know? And I like reading multiple books at a time because I like to read based off of like my mood. You know what I mean? Like if I feel like reading something more complicated, this is great. But then if I feel like I need just something to like zone out or like I'm getting tired, then I want something that's easier. So I will usually have multiple books going at a time. So I started these. And then you never know when your library holds are going to come in, and a very, very large hold came in, and that is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. And so because it's a physical book, like if it was an ebook, I would have been able to like select deliver later, but obviously it was physical, so I just had to pick it up. And so now I'm also reading Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, which it's huge. It's like 800 pages. So Yeah, now I think I'm gonna have to like pause this one temporarily and then do like back and forth of House of Leaves and Crescent City. That is all that I have for this video though. I will try and be back, I think, next Friday, because now that my kids are back in school, I would like to get back to doing Friday videos because that just kind of worked the best for me, I feel like, last year. And so thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you all next week. Bye!